What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. We're going to be breaking down and predicting the fights for UFC 322. And I'm basically going to tell you guys what's going to happen before it happens. It's kind of this ability I have. Luckily, there's no past videos on this channel for you to go and fact check me. So, starting from right now, we're going 5 for 5. I'm just doing the main card. I'm going to start with the main event and make my way down to the card opener. But real quick, let's talk about the real main event. Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira. I know a lot of people were surprised they put it in the main card, like how low they put it. They only put it in the fourth fight on the main card. I really think it should be at least co-main, but then they just took it off the main card entirely. I don't know if they're planning to like redo the whole bout order or what. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how JDM and Islam snuck on there, but whatever. Let's just start with the main event they have right now. Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. Guys, I think JDM is going to beat Islam, but I am pretty terrified that he's just going to get submitted. I just want to quickly put out, I'm going to do my breakdown of why I'm picking him, why I could see him losing, but the first thing I want to say is that I think this fight has a couple outcomes. Obviously, it has a million outcomes, but the main two outcomes I see happening are JDM edges out a decision based on damage. I think he will be the more damaging fighter in the stand-up. I don't think he'll be held down long enough to where that'll like completely override. Maybe that'll lose him a couple rounds, but I think the rounds where he can keep it standing or he's not taken down for very long, he'll outdamage Islam 100%. But I think his urgency to get up to the feet could possibly leave him vulnerable to submission, especially because Islam is so good at those submissions off of those awkward positions or when you're forcing yourself up, like a Darce when you try to roll to your stomach, or a Kimura if he's in side control and his arm's starting to get, he's just trying to really force his way out of there. But I think he's working with the right people. That's not going to happen, and that segues me into why I'm picking JDM to win, because stylistically, as I already mentioned, the damage, I think that'll be a really big factor for him to win rounds. I think I feel like recently when we see like the two best guys go at it, like Merab and Umar, Volk and Islam won, obviously, just like the two clearly best, a lot of times it goes to a decision, and I think for a decision, that's why you should lean JDM because of him being the more damaging fighter on like a moment by moment basis. He throws more strikes per minute, lands more strikes per minute. So yeah. Also, he is working the specifics with Craig Jones and Volk. Some people brush that off, but it's like we didn't see anyone actually be able to test Islam in the grappling, like at least make it hard for him until that first Volk fight. Like, to be fair, the main counter argument is that Volk is just like a dense ball of muscle compared to JDM, because Volk is obviously like 5'6" and pretty thick for the division, but also Volk is a featherweight and JDM is a welterweight, so I think that, you can't just say, well, JDM's not Volk, Volk's super strong. Like, I'm pretty sure someone 2 weight classes above Volk is going to be of a similar strength. Obviously not the same build, and, his center of mass isn't going to be the same as Volk, so it's going to be, he might be easier to take down, but in terms of strength, like, I don't know how that's going to play out. JDM probably walks around like 200 pounds if he's a welterweight. Probably leans out, gets closer to that. I don't think there's going to be a size thing. People are talking about, JDM's going to be too big for him or anything like that, because Islam's looking freaking huge, bro. It actually, was kind of crazy to see the girth he's put on. I think the Bilal fight was like a perfect segue fight into this. Like, a lot of people were picking Bilal based on the Gilbert Burns performance, thinking he could just be held down pretty easily, which, if you rewatch the fight, Gilbert Burns wasn't doing much with the takedowns. Like, he wasn't on some jail to Almeida timing, but he was just mostly holding him. Like, he couldn't really threaten submissions. He wasn't doing any ground and pound, because the whole stand-up was JDM, which obviously we know how good of a striker he is. But the Bilal fight, we saw so much improvement in that, Also, people are starting to forget. Like, some people question why Ilya is pound for pound number 1. Like, look at Islam's last 3 wins. Islam's obviously top 5 not the top 5. He's definitely in the top 2 pound for pound, or maybe 3 with Merab. But, you know, his latest competition ain't been all that, okay? His last fight, none of this is even his fault. None of this is his fault. I'm not saying this is his fault. It's the people that are pulling out against him, okay? There's people that are pulling out's fault, but it's still, he hasn't had to face, these number one guys in quite a long, in a couple of years. And the most important thing I need to mention, on top of everything I've already said, is that he's just a chill dude. Like, I was just watching the interview of him and Izzy, and bro just has, he's just a vibe. That's how I'm trying to be. I think I'm a little too chalant sometimes. I need to just chill out, be like him. All right, this is Glaze. I don't even know where I'm trying to go with this. I just meant to say he's a chill dude, and that was supposed to be a joke, but I sort of just... All right, yeah, I'm going to move on. Anyways, moving on. Why I'm low-key terrified. Look, I think JDM's going to win, but it's not like I'm super confident. It's just when I break down the fight, it's obviously a super close fight. It's a champ versus a champ. It's not going to be like a Ilya Charles where I was just no doubt in my mind thinking Ilya was going to slam him out. This is a close fight, and I'm slightly edging JDM. Well, hold on. Islam's lighter man skill. I am a firm believer in lighter man skill. I think most people are at this point. I know it's kind of a joke from Lucas Tracy. It's not even a joke. He has these same phrases he uses so much that they become like jokes on his channel, but he's saying them like how he means it. Like lighter man skill, it's a real thing. There's a reason Volk gave Islam his toughest fight. There's a reason Hamzat and people do so good moving up. People are like, I don't know, man, DDP is going to be too big for him. I don't know, Alex Pereira Alex Pereira is a huge guy. That's not the right comparison. But all these people who move up, they tend to do pretty good. Max Holloway moves up, beats Gaethje and Poirier, There's countless times where a fighter moves up and they do pretty good because of lighter man skill. And I am pretty worried this could just be one of those times where I'm watching the fight and JDM prepared well for the grappling, but Islam's just skill is just too much for him and he gets a sub, especially with that submission ability. JDM, his scrambling and his urgency is very good. That's one of the best things about him is that he never accepts a position. That's something I can't remember who was talking about. A UFC fighter was talking about that. I think it was Dominic Cruz or something in the Bilal fight. He's saying JDM never accepts the position, and it's true. Whenever he gets taken down, he's always trying to roll. He'll always try these Granby rolls, or he'll try the knee lever. He'll do all these moves trying to get up. Even when he's being held against the fence, he goes for these it's that one judo throw. I'll play a clip of it because I don't know the name, but I know what I'm talking about with it. And he's just always doing stuff like that. But I feel like with Islam, if he tries something like that out of nowhere, Islam's the type of guy who's so good at those submissions, not like the most basic ones, like rear naked chokes and arm bars. He's so good at those darces and those kimuras. I think that's where I see JDM losing. It's not from just being held down for a bunch of rounds. I think it's where if he makes a mistake on the ground with someone with lighter man skill, just the submission ability of Islam, that's, what could happen. Also, another reason I'm terrified is because this version of Islam we just have not seen before. He is moving up. He's going to be 15 pounds of muscle mass bigger, stronger, less weight cut. He's already saying he's feeling better about that. So it could be something that I'm just not even ready for based on the fights I've studied. He's just going to be another level of strong. But I can't worry about that too much just because I've literally, I can only pick fights off of what I've seen. I can't just be I just assume he's going to be so much stronger so he's going to win. It's no, let's not say all that. But one thing that is true is Islam kind of has everything to lose here. He moved up from Ilya. He didn't duck Ilya, but if he loses against JDM, he's not going to have any... he already doesn't have a belt, but it's he didn't lose his belt already. But if he loses to JDM, he'll have to go try to challenge Ilya for the belt that he vacated, and Ilya went and won. So it's kind of crazy for him. I think he sees how much is on the line with his legacy, with the narratives, with having to go back and challenge for his old belt, and that might make him just a scarier version of what he already is. Last thing I'm going to mention is just that Dagestani aura. Bro, I don't know what it is. I know what it is. They win a lot, but it's just so hard. I can picture JDM getting Darced right now in my head. It's scary, but I can picture it. And I can picture someone TKOing someone before a fight happens. But with the Dagestanis, it's so hard to imagine them losing. It's not glazed. It's just genuinely safe to pick them most of the time because they win most of the time. But with the Ankalaev fight, I was pretty confident Ankalaev would win again because when he beat Pereira the first time, I was just like, oh, yep, it was the guy in the division that he wasn't fighting. Everyone thought he might win. He's the one everyone thought might beat Pereira. He went out and beat him. So I thought that same energy going into the second fight. And then Pereira just made him look like a fool, bro. He just charged him. He's like, all right, I was sick then, genuinely. I'm going to come beat you right now. And then we also saw Umar lose this year to Merab. So I think that aura they have is starting to fade a little bit, which is why I'm okay picking JDM. Because obviously if they just they're all different fighters. I know it shouldn't be like this, but some of you have to understand what I'm saying. And I know some of you do, because some people in the comments are just like, oh yeah, Islam sub in 1. Islam sub round 1. Umar's going to KO Merab. Umar didn't even lose the first fight. Umar actually won. Umar broke his hand. I know some of you already push it past where I'm saying of just hard to imagine them losing. But that's starting to fade throughout the year. I think this is going to be the final nail in the coffin. Moving on to the co-main event. I'm picking Zhang Weili. No, I've put thought into this. I'm not just doing this off the rip. But to be honest, with WMA, I'm not even trying to be like that. But you actually can just pick off of vibes and just the gut feeling a lot of the time. Because Mackenzie Dern just beat Jandaroba last card, and Jandaroba was picked by all the MMA YouTubers I watched. Besides Bedtime MMA, he actually cooked with that pick on Mackenzie Dern. My main reason for picking Zhang Weili is when you just look at their recent performances, Zhang Weili has just been in her prime timing, bro. Dominated Tatiana Suarez. Tatiana Suarez was supposed to be this wrestler. Tatiana Suarez was the favorite going into that fight. And Zhang, after the round 1 takedowns, started defending every single takedown, piecing her up on the feet. So before that, she beat Yan Xiaonan pretty handedly. I can't remember all of them back then, but I know who she's fought. I think before the Yan Xiaonan fight, it was on the O'Malley. Yeah, it was when O'Malley knocked out Aljo. It was a fight with was it Lemos? I think. But either way, she's just been dominating all the contenders in her division, lapping them. And when you look at Shevchenko, I rewatched her Menon Fiorot fight. It was pretty hard. I'm doing all this work for you guys. I forced myself to rewatch that fight because the UFC posted it, and I was trying to study for this. And I low-key, I don't think she lost, but when you rewatch it, you kind of don't think she won that strongly. You watch the fight, and you're like, a couple of those rounds were kind of in the air. I don't really know. I thought they both for sure won a couple rounds each. And then the 5th round, it was super close. Shevchenko thought she was Volk. She was just kind of circling, trying to counter, but she's not. She just she had that lead right hook that was landing a lot because Menon kept crashing in, but by the end it wasn't landing that much, and Menon was just kind of walking her down. She wasn't throwing much herself. She kept trying to clinch her, not doing anything with it. So she's not out here dominating these contenders, the top contenders, the way Zhang is, especially because before that, Shevchenko had a whole trilogy with Alexa Grasso, and Alexa Grasso just got dominated by Natalia Silva. So for those reasons alone, I'm just going to go with Zhang Weili, and I think it's a pretty, I don't know about safe pick, but I'm pretty confident, on that. But it's WMMA, and I don't even think lighter women's skill is a real thing with WMMA because Shevchenko moved up, lost to Nunes, which, she's the GOAT, but Rose Namajunas moved up. She's not really doing that good. She's just kind of in the rankings, but anyways, let's move on. The featured fight, Shawn Brady versus Michael Morales. I actually, when I was cooking up this breakdown, I was like, oh yeah, I'm probably going to pick Shawn Brady. And then they posted their UFC fight marathon, and I had to go through and watch Michael Morales' fights because I've watched Shawn Brady's last few fights just already. But Michael Morales, I watched his Gilbert Burns fight. Obviously, they headlined this year. But I think he had a couple Apex ones in the last couple of years, so I didn't see those. But what I did see was in the Neil Magny fight, him get held up against the fence for 2 minutes against Magny. And that doesn't look too good when I'm having him fight Shawn Brady. But I actually think this fight is super close because Michael Morales is just huge, bro. 79-inch reach, just when he was fighting Gilbert Burns, he looked massive against him, bro. Gilbert Burns took him down, immediately back up, immediately got the grips off of him, and then just TKO'd him, bro. Like, and Gilbert Burns' fight before that, he went 5 rounds with Shawn Brady. So when you compare like last win, well, it's not Shawn Brady's last win. Last win he dominated Leon Edwards, but to be fair, Leon has like 0 heart whatsoever, and Bilal kind of laid out the blueprint to beat him. But I mean, good for Shawn Brady. He dominated him more than Bilal did. He made it look even easier, and he has some of the best grappling and best jiu-jitsu in the whole division. The thing is with Shawn Brady, he did get TKO'd by the Grim Reaper of Chicago, Bilal Muhammad. And Michael Morales that's kind of what he does. He kind of knocks out people. He low-key is massive, has a crazy power. And so I think when I look at this fight, I think I give the decision ability a lot to Shawn Brady, and I give the finishing ability a lot to Michael Morales. But I think based on not recent performance, just like the way it typically seems to be going nowadays, is I would go with the guy with the decision ability in Shawn Brady when he's already ranked above him, when he's beaten better competition. It's not like I'm just going on the decision ability. He has better wins. He's older. He has more experience. And he's definitely going to be a lot stronger. Like, he is just freaking dense, bro. Like, he is just a short, stocky, dense guy. But Michael Morales being so massive and having such a finishing ability, and Shawn Brady getting TKO'd by the Chicago Grim Reaper, makes me think the fight is actually pretty close, and I can see it going either way. But I'm going to go with Shawn Brady for this fight. Next up on the main card, Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. Look, I think this is going to be another Prates KO. I know some people are going to overthink it, make it seem like Leon could do more than he is. And I think Leon is a good striker, but the thing with this is Prates has just another level of power. Like, literally every type of shot this guy throws is just like night ending. Like, he throws the knee up the middle. Charles Radke's gone. His sniper left hand and right hand, they just knock out anyone. Just even if he drops you, he'll just let you back up, drop you again, and then eventually you just go out cold. Spinning elbow on Jeff Neal. Even ground and pound with Ian Gary, who is having an amazing performance against Carlos. It only took like 2 clean ground and pound shots to like make Ian Gary have to like crawl away from him. Like, I'm telling you, this guy's power is just unreal. Like, Ian was just on like a sniper timing. He was on 2 weeks, but I'm sure he was training. He is a striker himself. Carlos wasn't preparing for him. He's a tall, lengthy guy like him too, so he was the right type of guy to be fighting him. And I think Leon is going to really try to just mimic what Ian Gary did to him, because he's a striker himself. He saw that Gary was able to stifle him with the high kicks on his arms, the high kicks on the arms, mixing in takedown attempts. But I think even if Leon gives him like a hard round 1 and takes it, all it takes is just some strikes from Prates, which I know he's going to land on Leon. And Leon is so back-upable. Like, in his last few fights, even like Colby and Kumar, who just kind of that's just the way he fights. He just kind of circles and picks his shots, but you can't do that with Prates. You have to kind of bring the fight to him. Obviously, Ian Gary wasn't going to sit in the pocket and get hit by him clean, but you did have to come at him on his own and just hit him with shots. He wasn't just pitter-patter. You had to hit him with some hard ones to keep him at bay. And I can see Leon getting backed up. All it takes is one from Prates, and I think this is going to be another vintage Carlos Prates performance, and it's going to be even more impressive because it's a former champ in Leon. But to be honest, I think everyone's starting to realize Leon's not one of the best former champs out there by far. Last fight on the main card, Beneil Dariush versus Benoit Saint Denis. I've been kind of conflicted with this one, but I'm probably going to go with BSD. I actually haven't checked the odds. I'm actually curious what people are saying. Okay, yeah, Dariush is a slight favorite. I mean, no. BSD is a slight favorite. I mean, that makes sense. He's like a 200, 250, based on what I just looked up. The one website I used, it could be different, but that makes sense. I'm probably going to go with BSD just because, obviously, we know how chinny Beneil Dariush is. He even got dropped by Moicano last fight. His last fight against Moicano, I just remember watching that and just thinking they both looked really slow. They're both older for the division. I know Moicano was joking about that on their fight week. Like, they're both like, what, 36? They're not that old, but they just both looked really slow against each other. I don't know what it was. And, Benoit Saint-Denis, he's an explosive fighter. He brings the fight to you. He's always trying to finish you. And I think he'll be able to get it on BSD. So, main card picks. I'm going with Jack Della Maddalena to beat Islam Makhachev. I'm going with Zhang Weili to beat Shevchenko. Oh, I'll say what they are. I think JDM by decision or late TKO, but I'm going to go decision. And Zhang Weili to win by decision against Shevchenko. I'm going with Shawn Brady to win by decision against. Dang, I'm picking a lot of decisions. I think JDM's gonna TKO Islam in round 4. I think Islam's gonna start looking super tired after getting tested for so long. He'll get TKO'd. But anyways, Zhang Weili, Shawn Brady by decision, both of them, and Carlos Prates by KO and BSD by KO. That's gonna do it for the video. If you stuck around, thank you. I'm gonna keep putting out these videos. I hope I find like a niche community of people who will enjoy like my Minecraft gameplay with my breakdowns and predictions of these fights. I'm gonna save the Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira fight for the next. I'm probably gonna make a separate video just on that because it's not fair to like only put a little bit of thought into that with all these fights I'm already putting thought into. I need to actually spend days crafting up my prediction for that. I need to spend some long hours, Yuri Prohaska style, by myself in a dark room thinking about that fight. So I'll get that out soon. I'll get the Bo Nickel prediction fight out soon. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one.